What's up guys, Jack here from Magpie, and today I'm going to be informing you and educating you about the top 5 UK bands that you need to know about. We've got a mix of the 5 UK bands. I've got some promising futures ahead of them, some really cracking EPs, some debut albums as well, and we're going to be giving you the rundown of the top 5 UK bands that you need to know about. So with our first band, we're going to be keeping it local to us here in Birmingham with Beaumont. They've just released their second EP, honestly, this year, and their debut, Nothing, was a real good debut from them, and honestly really kicks on, really captures what they're about as a band, it nails it down even more, that melodic vibe, that sort of pop punk element in with the alt rock vibe as well, and it's a really catchy melodic vibe that they've got going on. You can compare it to their contemporaries bands such as Decade, some Lower Than Atlantis, the later stuff, not the earlier stuff, that sort of vibe. And I can really see them slotting into like a Radio 1 daytime slot. It's that melodic, that catchy, but it's got some grit and some real emotion behind it as well. Our next band in this list come in the form of Eat Me, the UK's answer to Pavement. They're this melting pot of indie meets punk with really intricate parts, some really funky bass as well, and it really comes across in a really raw and DIY vibe, and it's just it's fantastic. I think I can't think of any other band to compare them to in the scene right now. They've got 3 EPs to their name, the latest one being Watermelon Enema, which is again this really weird meld of songs. You look at Boy and that sort of vibe, that the videos as well, it just encompasses what they're about as a band. They just don't take themselves too seriously, which I think is always important, especially if you see them live. They just make it look effortless, but if you hear the songwriting and you listen to the guitar solos, they're just really intricate and really weird, and they just fit the vibe so well. Lead vocalist and guitarist Jamie as well has this really vivid and blunt lyrical delivery, as well as this sort of like juvenile kind of delivery that comes across in his melody as well. It's just yeah, a melting pot of all these different things. So yeah, if you're looking for something way out of left field, check out Eat Me, Watermelon Enema, that was their latest EP, and then go back and check out their other EPs as well. It's all on the internet. Next up, we've got probably the biggest band on the list in the form of Puppy. This metal infused indie really comes together really nicely, and yeah, again, nothing that I've ever heard before, and yet still a small band and only a few EPs to their name. The vocalist interplay in between the verses and the choruses, and then contrasting with the heavy guitars, really is really interesting, and I've never heard anything like this before. As I said, you can just hear the high end from the vocalist and then really heavy Metallica-like riffs. It's that heavy, that much groove in them, and it's really interesting and really fascinating to see how that trade-off works out, and it comes off without a hitch, and it comes off so melodic, but then really heavy breakdowns and really heavy bridges and outros to their songs, that it works incredibly well. If you look at their back catalogue, they have 2 volumes to their name in the form of 2 EPs. Volume 1 with Forever on there, which is a great, huge tune, really big chorus. And then Volume 2 with the tracks such as Entombed. And the videos as well, it's just hilarious. They have there's such this meme culture that younger bands are really latching onto, and they really encompass that into their band. And just funny videos and that sort of thing posted onto Facebook. It's really, you know, encompassing the younger bands and the younger generation to get on board with them. And it seems as if they are rising up and gaining popularity quite quickly, to be honest. And yeah, they've played big shows such as Download and Slam Dunk, but they've also just played a recent headline tour as well, which has gone across the UK. Get a chance to see them, I'll definitely recommend it. I saw them with Creeper earlier this year on a supporting slot, and they were fantastic. They sound great live. It sounds as if they won't pull it off live. The high end with the heavy guitars might not work, but it really works live. They're just a 3-piece as well, and it comes off really well live, and I'll definitely recommend seeing them in the next show available. Next up, we have emo grunge rockers Muskets. Now, these boys have been pretty quiet since their first EP, but they've just released their debut album on the 20th of October, Chew. And if you want to get a feel for this band, just think of the likes of Balance and Composure with a sprinkling of basement in there, that sort of vibe. It's really grungy, really emo-y. If you don't like the new Balance and Composure, which I don't understand why you wouldn't, but anyway, if you don't like the new Balance and Composure, then think old Balance and Composure, and this is the UK band for you. They're definitely a part of that really intimate DIY punk scene that's going on, and they're ticking all the right boxes. Their album Chew is a great album, you should definitely check it out. It's on their Bandcamp, etc, etc. and yeah, it's a really good work of emo, grungy, but it's melodic, and it reminds me, some of the vocals remind me of Decade as well, that sort of quite melodic and quite accessible in a way, but just got that real grit, that real crunching guitars, those real lo-fi sound as well. Again, you can expect a big 2018 from them. They've just come off a recent co-headliner with Wallflower as well. That was a really good show, and you should definitely check them out if they're around your area in the near future. And then finally, we've probably got the most rawest talent on the list today in the form of Camicazi Girls. So this male-female duo, drummer and guitarist respectively, really come together to create this really raw, lo-fi punk, which is really memorable and really unforgettable in a way, and yeah, definitely something for the hardcore punk fans out there. A throwback to 90s punk, and yeah, it's really unpolished, it's really raw, really gritty. Their debut album Seafoam came out earlier this year, and again, it's that really raw, really dirty vibe that they've got to them. When you see them live, it's really personable because it's literally just guitar and drummer on stage. On record, it really doesn't sound that narrowed down. It sounds much bigger than that. It sounds if there's, I don't know if they've recorded guitars on top of the guitars or something like that, or if they're putting a bass track or something like that, but again, it sounds much bigger than that. It's still really raw, but it just sounds if there's a lot more going on than what you would just think from a guitar and a drummer. They hooked me through the Narwhals tour that they played earlier this year, and they've played some noticeable shows around the UK. They keep playing, you know, the odd day festivals and that sort of thing. They keep popping up everywhere, so you can definitely expect more to come from them in 2018. So those are our top picks for the up-and-coming bands for the future. Who else would you include in that list? Drop a comment down below. And while you're down there in the description, check out our social medias. We're always uploading on there. We've got some big news coming, so stay tuned for that. And as always, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and then put your post notifications on for our next videos that will be coming out to make sure you get notified, and also drop a subscribe if you're not already. As always, I've been Jack, and we'll see you next time.